welcome back to episode 139 of Tall Boy Radio. We've got yet another guest for you this week, but before we get to them, let's say hello to the two regular guys and find out a little bit about what they are drinking this week.
Yeah, evening, guys. Looking forward to this. Always enjoy having a guest on our podcast. And for this evening, I'm drinking. It's a. I don't know if you can see that. Is it a Shepherd Neal? It's an Indian Pale Ale, 6.1%, which by all accounts pales into insignificance compared to the beers that Adam is going to be drinking and introducing in a minute. And I quite like that bit. And then when that goes, I keep saying if it goes, but when it goes, I've just got basically a Shipyard IPA as well. As a second little tipple. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Jolly good.
They'll ding dang do for me, Andy.
Howdy. I'm on the old apple juice today. Rattler. One of my favourite ones.
You do. You like that one, don't you, dude? Well, I'm drinking. Well, you can probably see if you saw me lift it to my lips and you watch it on YouTube there. A couple of Imperial Stouts, all purchased from the Sandbach Beer Emporium. So the first one is this one from the Manchester Marble Brewery. Can you read what's in that one, Gaza?
Well, I've read the first word, so I'm put off straight away because it says pineapple. So not
pineapple, cacao, and Acai Imperial Stout, 12%. So that will sort out this gnarly cough that I've got. And if I muster it through that one, because it's quite a rich one, this one is a Three Hills Brewing, and it is a Caribbean Rum Imperial Stout. It's a little bit weaker, though, so, you know, I think it's 11%, that one.
That sounds better than the first one.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that one, but I didn't want to have that one first and set my cough off. So, a little bit of a hint there as to who we are joined by. We should have been joined by Liam, but we've upgraded. And interestingly enough, whenever we talk to people about Tall Boy Radio, people normally say, is it because me and Andy are so tall? But had Liam been on there, he would have been the first guest we ever had on who was taller than the two of us. So that would have been interesting.
Wow, okay.
It's
Indeed.
like your long legs, honestly. It's like working with a praying mantis. Unbelievable.
Indeed. We can't be accused of that because we're a little bit more rotund. So, did you want to say hello and tell us a little bit about what you're drinking?
Hi, I'm Della. I work for the Beer Emporium, and I was supposed to just come in and do a shift a week, and that turned into doing all the social media. So anything you see online for the past year and a bit, that's me. So I do all the reviews, I do all the pictures and anything else that's on our online presence. And that's kind of melded very slowly into now me buying all the cans for the beer wall. So what I do is I go around and find fun things and buy them because I want them. So,
cool. So you taste them first. You've got to taste them all first, obviously.
Yeah, it's a terrible job because I have to throw myself on that dagger and review most of the beers, because if I'm going to sell them, I'm going to have to tell you all about them. Nice. And tonight I've got a Three Hills as well.
Oh.
I've got Jedi Pie Trick.
Oh, wow.
Which is the Imperial Pastry Stout, and it is unbelievably lovely. It is 11%, and it has the most bitter, biscuity, caramelly sort of marshmallow, oaty. It's so thick. It's probably one of the most standout beers this year for me.
Oh, my mouth's watering already listening to that.
I was going to say, seriously, that's like right up your street.
That's my kind of beer.
Stout is that's you all over, dude.
Oh yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I have to say, this one I'm drinking, which is the pineapple, cacao, and Acai Imperial Stout, is pretty good. And strangely enough, actually, it does have a real aftertaste to pineapple. I wasn't sure how that was going to work. When I picked it up, I thought, you know what? To be honest, I only picked it up because it's pineapple. I know Gaz hates it. But I thought I'll give it a go. Normally, if I were to go Imperial Stout wise, it would be something like you're drinking. But I've gone for a few different things. I'm not a huge fan of rum, but I am looking forward to this one.
It is a particularly nice one. So you've got a very, very good. They're one of the ones that whenever we get anything really good that we've all enjoyed, we steal one of them and we put it downstairs. And we like to call it our secret stash, but it's not really a secret stash. It's just some cans hidden behind some wood. So it honestly, it's not Alcatraz down there. It's just a bit of wood lent against the wall. We've got some of those behind the bit of wood.
Oh wow!
So it's going to be good.
I'll tell you one beer that my brother bought me from there. I'd be interested to know if that's behind there. Attila the Hen.
Yeah, I think there's definitely one of those down there with the feathers all stuck to it. Have you had it?
Oh yeah. Beer don't last very long. God bless him. He's actually bought me two. I've got a very generous brother.
I want to say that's quite a crack of the whip. That Attila the Hen's not a cheap beer.
It isn't. No. He's bought me two. If my other brother's listening, it's time he stepped up.
I know.
No pressure. I know he's not listening, so I'm getting away with saying that. So is that your go-to type of beer then, like those sort of robust beers?
I like anything that's got a big punchy flavour to it. If anything's a bit thin, I tend to come away from it, and it's not really my thing. So tippers and dippers, double dry hopped as well. Anything that's got like a proper bite to the back of it, and you've had it. Yeah. So I'd much rather have one good beer of a night than three that are just meh. So one good one, that's me. But they do tend to be up there, so they get to be about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11%. That's my go-to.
That's just right down Andy's, like that's right in his own. That is sort of 9, 10, 11%. That's a little just aperitif in it, dude.
Well, you want to know your
exactly, yeah. You want to chew through it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not like Stella and stuff where you just chug it and don't enjoy the flavours or anything.
No.
What's the point when you can enjoy life? Why you don't have to suffer through it? Enjoy a beer. Don't just have a beer.
Absolutely.
It's weird because like sort of growing up and stuff, you sort of grow up and you drink what your dad used to drink, and I used to drink loads of bitters and stuff, and then you go through a phase of drinking, just drink lager, so it's like Carling or Stella or whatever it may be. You just think, and actually it's Andy and Adam really that got me into trying loads of different types of beer, and okay, yeah, you might have a stock bottle of like Bud in the back, and you think, I just want to chug something, I'm thirsty, there you go, I'll chug that away or whatever. But if I'm going to enjoy a beer, then there's so much more variety out there, and these two guys are, I sort of say thanks to those guys, because they're the ones that sort of got me into it, and I haven't quite progressed onto a pineapple sort of drink yet, because it's not my favourite, and I haven't quite progressed onto the Duchess, so that's another beer. But other than that, I'm pretty open to trying a few things.
Well, the Duchess there, dude. You mentioned it. Obviously, it's our notes, and every time we get somebody on to talk about beer, we talk about the Duchess de Bourgogne. Is that a beer you've tried?
It's not, but then this is going to sound terrible. It was Liam who got me into this more than anything. So in lockdown, they were operating as a bottle bar, or just a takeout bottle man. And I wandered in, and I said some pretty questionable jokes because I hadn't been around many adults. So I'm not sure about your listenership. So
no, don't worry about that.
It's not a problem.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wandered in, and I think my first interaction with Liam was he said, "And how's your lockdown been?" I said, "Well, I've completed Pornhub, and my vibrator's worn down to a beach pebble." And so I think Liam went, "Oh, I like her. Yeah, I like her." So I went in maybe once a week and got a different selection of beers. Slowly but surely kind of honed what I liked, because I used to have like a hobgoblin and that'd be me.
Yeah.
And it slowly kind of turned into me saying, no, I don't like that one. I want that one. And I don't like that hop either. So I want this one. And I don't like, and slowly but surely the knowledge of the different varieties of beers and then how things are made just built up because I had nothing else to do. So, and he said, "What job?" All right then.
Yes, please.
All right then, yeah. And then it's become a passion, like a passion thing for us. So we go and steal all these beers and take them home and drink them. So that's how we've ended up in this situation where we've ended up with all of these beers. So thanks to Liam.
Indeed. But like I say, the Duchess is not one of the ones that's made it onto your list and your repertoire of different beers. Do you like sour beers?
I actually have in my 3 that I brought here. The strawberry rhubarb Ripple from Yonder. So I don't know if you've seen on our Instagram, I posted something that said, brace yourself, the sours are coming, because I just got on a bit of a sour train. And I've ended up from anything from mango up to strawberry, vanilla, Bianca from Omnipollo, which I would probably class as a sour. I got on it. And Yonder are doing them beautifully at the moment. So if you're going to come, yeah,
we will.
Yeah.
Well, to answer the question, yes, I do like sour.
Yeah. Well, the other beer company that do good sours, obviously Vault City. You know what I mean? They're fruit sours. And you had in there, and I have had it from there as well, the cherry cola cube beer.
Yeah.
That's lethal. I could just smash that.
It's so nice. But it was one of those ones that came up on their availability and I went, go on. But I tend not to buy that much from Vault because they're such a large company and they're so big that I'm trying to champion smaller breweries as much as you possibly can. So if somebody's going to do a sour and it's like their first, second, third sour, get it in, see what it's like, give them feedback, because they're always desperate for feedback. So give them feedback. And 9 times out of 10, that is good feedback.
Yeah. So there's that. I think you mentioned earlier then that one of the things you do then is buying beers for the beer wall. And I think when we chatted earlier, you said that one of your jobs was to start badgering different brewers, or you would badgering brewers for different beers. Tell us about that then. The different beers you try, and these brewers want feedback as well, obviously, because they're smaller companies. That's fascinating.
So Middlewich, Four Priests. So the new, the great, and his first keg that he did had a big sticker on it with Della's keg written on it, because I'd said, "Can you do me a keg?" And I'd only just taken the photo that it was on, and I got a message from Andy saying, "What's it like? Is it good? What's it this, that?" And he wants honest feedback, and most people want honest feedback. So when I ring them and I say, "Have you got this?" and they'll say, "Oh, you had the dry hop, what's it, last week? Yeah, what was that like for you? Like, what do you like about it?" And especially when they're smaller breweries, they're desperate for that kind of like detailed feedback. And how did it sell? And who the people who bought it, what else do they buy? And you tend not to get that with like larger places. They're not really interested in feedback. They're interested in sales. So you bought it already. They're not bothered anymore.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. So, of the beers that you've had, then, whether they're local ones, whether they're small ones, what's the best beer you've had then from the Sandbach Beer Emporium?
So, probably the vanilla pastry tart, the vanilla custard tart from Three Hills, which was an imperial stout. That just blew our minds. It was just it was another level of wonderful. That's in the stout vein. In a Baltic porter, Material Science from Cloudwater. I know they're massive now, but I could have very easily bought a keg of that for myself. It was standout beautiful. Sours wise, probably the Blueberry Wrecker from Staggeringly Good. That flew off the shelf so quickly that when I came in, somebody said, "No, I put one in the map." It was stunning, a stunning beer. And if for an IPA, Mobley Brew House, Stay Tuned we've got 1 can left. But I fell in love with Mobley when they did Fly By Night, which is the dipper that they did. Really bitey, incredibly well balanced. And if you were to have like a curry, like a hot curry, you would want that beer. Perfect.
Well,
so I haven't got just one.
No, I've not got just one. I do like a good hot curry. I've had a Mobley Brewhouse beer on here before. I do a thing where I have a different beer every week. And I had one, and I forget what type of beer it was, but it was Your Call Is Important to Us was the name of the beer. And I bought that from there as well.
Telephone on it. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Any of those beers float your boat, Gaza?
It's weird because I haven't tried many. I mean, obviously, I'm not a massive sour fan, so any of the sours is like sauces. I'm just way down. That just doesn't float my boat. I genuinely do think I need to try some of your stouts, some of your chocolatey stouts, your biscuit stouts, because I genuinely quite like stout, so I don't mind it, and it's a type of beer that I haven't drank loads of. So you guys converted me to sort of Belgian beer in particular, and then I've started to then expand my repertoire a little bit, but the stout, basically I drink like Guinness, and that's a stout, and that's about it. The plum porter, I know. I mean, you're a massive sort of Titanic Brewery fan, aren't you? So, so I've tried that, but I think that's probably the market that I'd probably try next. Is a lot more of your stout, as you said, Della. They're quite the rich, punchy sort of flavoured beers, and I quite like the idea of the chocolatey, the biscuit. Not a massive strawberry fruit fan. I'll as long as it's not pineapple, I'll try it. But your chocolatey, biscuity stout beers, I'll definitely try.
We've got some lovely ones coming up there that I think I lost my mind on some of them because the price of the keg, and I went, just do it. And they'll be coming up soon because we sell an awful lot of stout, like the big punchy 11-12% stouts.
Yeah.
So I think we've got one from Pomona Island. We've got a salted caramel and a chocolate one coming up. I think we might have another sneaky Omnipollo in the cellar somewhere, which is I'm not sure because if it's there, it'll come out as a surprise. And it's like, and I found this. You found a 400-pound keg in the cellar, did you? Did you find it? Yeah.
So how many? Because you mentioned that you're in charge of sort of purchasing, and that. So how many of each of the different types do you have in stock? I mean, I don't know. Do you hold quite a big stock? Do you? How does that work?
So
do you get like trends and stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. So over spring, it's all very juicy IPAs like the Mylar from Polly's, stuff like very, very sort of like really fruit heavy beers. And I know you might say, fruit heavy, but it's not actual fruit. It's more that sort of juicy top notes that you would get in an IPA, but without the bitter back.
Yeah.
And then that would seep into like gozes, into sours for summer, a couple of lambics as well, anything a bit sweeter. And then about now, we'll see that trail off and stouts kind of coming in. For can-wise, it's the big punchy stouts. So it's the rum barrel-aged stouts. It's 11-12% impies, waters, something really rich that you would sit and have on a dark night, and that trend kind of continues all the way through winter. But we'll see in the like November, December, that's where you start getting like dippers and tippers of kind of where people want to go, because you want a break from stouts, but you also want a big punchy flavor. You want a big punchy taste, something with a lot of bite to it. For holding stock, we tend not to keep much downstairs because it doesn't really last. So I say this week I've got 16 different cans coming through that I ordered maybe like last week, and I will order anything between 6 and 12 of each, and they'll go on the beer wall. And I always think it's quite rude of people, really, because I put them all up and it's very neat and tidy, and I think, oh, well done. And then I come back 2 days later and people have had the nerve to buy stuff and ruin my wall. So then I'll pop in during the week if I'm not working. I'll pop in and just say what needs doing, make a mental note, and then start building like this order in my head of going, well, actually, those sours are going really well. So I'll pick up a couple of different sours. Oh, those are going really well. I'll pick up a couple of those. So I end up with like notes written on the back of my hand saying, get these. And then, but then Liam will ring me and say, can you get 3 kegs off? And I go, off what? And he goes, what? Off you pop. Okay. Which I never thought I would be doing, but here I am.
There you go. Something else we should tell you about Liam as well. Actually, fun enough that we were going to spring on him were he to come on the podcast. He actually went to school with my wife, and Andy's better off as well. Yeah. They weren't. Well, I won't give away the school or his age, or my wife's age, or Andy's wife's age. That wouldn't be appropriate, would it?
It's the same age as me. So,
there you go. Oh, so you know then.
It's just no big secret.
Yeah.
They must have known him as like the giant Enderman who was just like towering above people in the corridor.
Yeah. Pretty much what they said. Yeah.
Pretty much giants. If that gives it away.
Yeah. Well, personality-wise as well. You know, he's a big presence in the bar, which we really like. You know, we're that kind of bar though. People come in for a chat. Unfortunately, as you might have noticed, we can really talk.
Well, I always go in and I always have an idea of what I want to buy, and then I'll say, this is the sort of thing I'm after, this is what I've got in mind, and then leave with something entirely different, either from speaking to yourself or from Liam or the other guy there with the beard as well. I think that's who I bought these off last time. But I always end up with something entirely different that I bought. So the other thing that's round the corner as well, I guess, as we're approaching Oktoberfest, is that something you do there?
So we do get a lot of Oktoberfest beers in, and we do have a regular who turns up in lederhosen.
Andy.
Not just the October.
I love German beers, so I will try my very best to go to Germany at least once a year to Berlin and go and drink and eat ridiculous amounts of food. So I think we're going to get some of the October. I know we're going to get some of the Oktoberfest beers in. I don't think I'm going to make a massive deal of it, though I want to make a massive deal of it. Purely because we've got like 2 different sets of customers. We've got people who come in and drink cask and they want to sit and read the newspaper and have a nice environment to go in. And then we've got other people who come in who want to come and drink and have a fun time. And they sit very separately from each other. And it's the one crowd would really appreciate it. And I don't think the other one might not appreciate me making Liam and Patrick wear like a milkmaid's outfit. Whereas I would appreciate that. I think,
more fool anyone who wouldn't enjoy that kind of thing.
I keep saying we should sell tickets, but they're not taking me on.
Dear. So what we had? What was the name? I'm terrible with names. I apologize. Sam, wasn't it? Was it Sam, Gaz?
Yes.
From the Belgian Beer Company. Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Sam on a couple of weeks ago, and we spoke to them about what they're doing. Obviously, they're doing some wholesaling now as well, so they do some really reasonable prices for it. And you can buy, was it small bottles in 6 bottles of the different Belgian beers as well. So if that's something you're interested in, well, Sam, hello, I'm putting your name out there.
Definitely.
But one of the things we asked here as well was, any trends? What are the new trends then in beer that we're spotting
that are coming up? Well, people seem to be very, very fat, very, very. I don't want to say it in a disparaging way, but if I see another beer with Simcoe and a Mosaic and a Sabro, oh god, just you've done it. You don't need to give me the same beer with a different name.
Yeah.
We all know it's the same beer with a different name. Sours and pastry sours and imperial pastry sours do seem to be a very big thing at the moment, with odd ingredients as well, like Vault City and Neonda did one together, which was yuzu berry, and maple, but it's beautiful, which I didn't want it to be. But it really is.
There's a beer that sounds absolutely horrendous, but actually is quite nice, and you really think it shouldn't go, but it sort of does. Have you had any with mint or not? I'm just curious.
Ooh. There was one from Staggeringly Good that had cardamom pods in, and I thought, no, it wasn't cardamom, tell a lie. It was coriander.
Oh, yes.
And it's called sour pod. And when you had it, you were like, I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to like this. And you had it, went, oh, that's really refreshing. It was like a mojito, that sort of like tangy, refreshing edge on the back. And I kept saying to people, you'll like it. No, you really like it. But I think they were put off by that coriander. And when they tried it, they were like, I will have 3 cans of that. And it's into my pocket. So you're there picking the prices off because they didn't want their wives and husbands to know how much they were.
I'll do that.
It's weird because we had this, I can't remember even when it was, what episode it was, but we were talking about flavours that you don't really see in beer, and I mentioned mint, and I don't know whether Andy, and he was like, no, mint, no, never, it's not going to go in a beer. And I said, but surely there would be a beer that has mint, and I had you found one, didn't you? I can't remember, what was it called?
I did. In all fairness, it was a very mass-produced beer, but I still do enjoy it. The Desperados do a mojito beer, right. So it is flavored with white rum, tequila, and mint. And mint is the overpowering taste in it. And it's on a hot day. It is so smashable. It is ridiculous.
White rum and tequila sounds like a mistake. That you
have it. You
go, that was a mistake.
It was troublesome. They do a whiskey sour one as well, which is like 7%, and literally it's just bang on a hot day. It's trouble. It's trouble, but the good kind of trouble.
It's when ones like that are just too easily drinkable. When they're 8, 9, 10%, and you think it doesn't taste like that, and you've had 2, and then you're like, oh, well, that'll be why. Yeah. Like I always think it's like the lion on the can, and I think it's not that. It is.
So myself and Andy unfortunately wasn't there, but we did a podcast up in Scotland. We went to Edinburgh, and we had this, I can't remember, something teens % beer or whatever.
It was the Tiny Rebel, and it was the marshmallow stout. I think it was. Yeah, in the little black can with a little gold bear in it.
Yeah, Get Out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. It was beautiful.
And so the barman came over and said, "Do you want 1 or 2 glasses? You're going to share it." And we were like, "Well, do we get one each or not?" And we ended up sharing it. And it was, I mean, it was nice. It was. I'm not saying difficult drink, but it's not one that you'd go like, and it was a pleasant drink. Don't get me wrong, it was lovely, but it was one of those drinks that you'd have one of those maybe, or maybe you'd have 2 across the whole night. Do you know what I mean? You'd have like, you wouldn't be, I'll try this, I'll try that. I mean, it was lovely, but it wasn't it probably wasn't a drink that you'd have more than one of.
Yeah, no. Some of them are session, and you can have a few, and then there are some that you have a third of after a meal when you're all just going, oh yeah. There are some that you have a little bit of, and those are the ones that you want to enjoy. Like those are the ones you want to savor more than anything. So I find a lot of the Emperor's Brew ones are like that. Those are the ones you want to go, let's all get a glass. And I take them into work because my husband, he likes speckled hen.
Okay.
So I take them into work and we all get a glass and we sit and we have a little bit. Yeah, we all nod at each other like, this is, because otherwise you can't open one. It's like a bottle of wine. You can't open one and let it sit in the fridge. You're going to have to, everyone has to have a bit.
Well, that was the thing with that Attila the Hen. So I had the first one. I actually had the first one. I drank it on the podcast. And the second one, John brought it around, my brother. And I said, go on, dude. You've been kind enough to buy it. Have a, see if you like it. Secretly hoping that he wouldn't. And he didn't. He ate it. It's like absolute winner. I'm taking this down myself because that's a nice strong one. It's about 12.5% as well. But I think that's a bourbon barrel aged one.
Yeah, when you've had that.
Oh,
did you have the triple fermented Stingo from Salt?
No.
That's definitely one to try. It's an experience of a beer. It's quite a big bottle, and it has this.
I bought that for my brother for his birthday because I was determined to make him like one of them. I don't think he enjoyed it, but that's not the point.
The Stingo's one where it's almost like sherry. And it's got this really earthy, almost like a mushroomy sort of edge to it. it's an experience in itself. And I think it's one that you have to be a very worldly craft beer person to appreciate this wonderful thing. Like some whiskies where you go, oh Christ. And then somebody says, oh, that was actually dragged from the bottom of the sea, and it was and it cost $5,000 for each shot, and you're like, it was awful. That's, I'm not saying it's awful.
You pretty much did.
Not right. I didn't say I was a clever woman. So that's what it's like. It's something you've got to appreciate and have that little bit of. And I think that's a good thing about Salt as well, because they have this wonderful, they've got these core lines that sell incredibly well. And then they've got this Hexagon project where they just say to the brewers, like, off you pop, you think of something that you can do and do it. And that's why we ended up with the hot ones, which was the 1 chili and the 3 chili, which is like a habanero pepper IPA. It's 8%, and that starts with like a mango into heat, into like a chili edge, and it's like a pinching chili edge, and then it comes back into the mango, and it leaves, when you come away from it, you go, that was really spicy, I want some more. And then you just have, because it's like dipping a really spicy bit of curry wrapped in a Peshwari naan into mango, and then you eat it, and then you get all of those flavors.
That sounds amazing.
That does sound absolutely awesome.
It's such a good beer. Honestly, it's such a good beer. But then trying to convince people that, do you like this? And they go, yeah, right, well, try this. And I think they look at you like, no, because you've just told me that you really like hot curries, and then you've told me to drink this. And I've had people who've tried it going, oh, but I've had people who try it who just down the whole can. So,
wow, it does sound it sounds tempting. I'll be honest.
It does.
It's very, very beautiful. It's again, Salt. They just say, go for it. If you're going to do it a little bit, go for it. Don't not buy halves. And that's why the Hexagon project turns out some really beautiful beers, like the Triple Kings or the Wizard one they've just done, which end up like 10%, but punchy, beautiful, like really hard hitting, bitey flavors. And you can't fault them for it, which is why we've ended up to be Salt's biggest customer outside of their own tap rooms. And
Is that right?
Yeah, we're only this tiny little micro bar with 4 keg lines.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I can't help but love them enough. The Johnny from Salt was kind enough to get me some tickets for the beer festival, which was in Birmingham last weekend.
I saw your video of that. Yeah, you got through a few beers then, didn't you?
17.
Wow.
That
was just the first night.
They were only small. It's fine.
Yeah, but probably about 15%.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There was only one all day that I went.
What was that one then?
Yeah, you can't say on here. You can't stitch them up, dude.
Because the only reason I ask is I'm curious as to whether or not you've tried to go out, you've sourced a beer, you thought, oh, that will go, and then all of a sudden it's sort of bombed, and you've ended up with like just no sales, and you think, oh my god, that's going to go like amazingly well. Yeah. And it hasn't.
I think there's been the other way around where I've thought, I like that. We'll only get 6. And then they all go that day. And I think, and then I can't get any more. And that's really frustrating. And Liam's been good enough to say, just follow your gut on it, because you seem to choose ones that other people are going to want. So I've started to go, actually, I think I would enjoy that, and then buy it. There's been maybe 1 or 2 where 2 of them have hung around. But thanks to, I've started putting boxes together saying, these are the last 2, want them. And people are like, yeah, I love that. Because and that's the way.
Chuck them in the middle of a variety box or whatever, and people don't really care. And it's like, oh yeah, I like the 5, but that one wasn't very nice. But hey ho, it's fine, not a problem.
Yeah, I don't think that it's not that they're not very nice. I think it's like people don't like taking a step into a brewery or something that they've never tried before. Like we've got some at the moment we've got from Almasty, and then I thought I'm going to take a punt on that. The lower ABV, which for me, because I tend to buy cans in the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bracket, like a good hard hitting can, and they're 4, 5, 6%. The beers are beautiful. They're very nice. There's nothing wrong with these beers whatsoever. But I think they're going to be slower selling than anything else because they suffer from, it's 4%, and the people look away. Where you think, and they're very reasonably priced as well, considering the price ranges of some of the stuff that we get in, because again, the niche stuff, it's from small breweries who have high costs. So you end up paying £7 for a can of beer, a lovely can of beer, but it is still £7.
Yeah.
And people don't want to take the step into, I don't want to pay £5 for a can for something I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is why I do the reviews now, so people know.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That is a really interesting way of doing it. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we had a bar in Allsager, which is where myself and Gaz live, called Craftworks, and that's one of the things the guy said. He used to get a bit of feedback about the price of the beer that he was selling, and it's fair enough. These are small breweries, and it's not a mass produced product. It is a very limited run that these beers get produced on. And the ingredients that go into it is premium, and they produce a premium product of it. So you are going to pay a premium price for it. And not everybody is ready for that. I mean, obviously, it's a growing market. I still believe it is a growing market, the craft beer market. And Andy's a big fan. You're a big fan of the Belgian beer market as well, aren't you, dude?
High alcohol will do, yeah.
That's it. But that's it. And I guess the other thing as well at the moment, which would be interesting to see how it goes, obviously, there's a real tightening on people's purse strings. There's a lot of pressure on the wallet at the moment. We're all getting our gas and electricity bills, and they're all absolutely sky high. I'm promising I'm not going to go on a tirade about the Conservative government. I promise I'm not going to do it again. We know what I think about them.
You've done it for 14 weeks.
Yeah. So
I think with that trend, though, people are going to start getting, like I said before, one nice thing, because it becomes little treats, doesn't it? It becomes things that you want on a Friday. You're not going to buy a 4-pack of Stella for £6 to buy a nice beer.
Yeah.
And I can see that now when people say, I want one, but one good one. I want 2, but 2 good ones. Yeah. And when it comes to the price of beer, anyway, I say to people quite a lot, if you can buy a bottle of wine for £2. I'm not saying you're going to want to drink it, but you can buy one. But then again, you can buy a bottle of wine for £2,000.
Yeah.
And the difference is that you get premium products and then you get budget products. And you can, it's the same with beer. There are premium product beers and there are budget beers. And that's why these cost what they do, because these are a premium product, and that's where we're at. And I don't want to say, well, if you want something cheaper, you can go to Aldi. I don't want to say that. But
you say that, but some people will have, lots of people have different palates and different tastes and different, and there'll be some people out there. And you said that there's a £2 bottle of wine, and there's a £2,000 bottle of wine. Now you might get somebody that says, well, actually, I quite like. I'll drink the £2.50 bottle of wine, and that's fine. You go to your Aldi or whatever, and have your 12-pack of Carling or your whatever. But there's lots of people that will say that actually my palate wants X drink, and therefore, my palate suits 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, £9 can of beer. Because I'm going to have 1 or 2 over the course of the night. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be a nice drink I can enjoy with some company and blah, 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 blah. And that's their experience of that night.
Yeah, and that's the lovely thing, though. I remember when I first started kind of going, drinking, like with my husband, I drank Guinness. And that's what I drank. I just drank Guinness because anything else just tasted weird. sort of drank Guinness. I'm Irish, unfortunately.
Anything else tasted weird, or you tasted Guinness and it tasted weird?
No,
loads of people go Guinness. Oh God, that's an acquired taste, and it takes a while to drink Guinness.
I think my mum's version of medicine was if you had a bad tummy ache, you had half a can of Mackey's.
Mackerson Stout. Wow. Back in the day.
That'll settle your stomach. That'll make you go to sleep. All right. My dad's Scottish, so it was you had toothache and you had whiskey rubbed on your gums. So that's
where both worlds and happy days.
I know. I spent half my childhood drunk. It was wonderful. And whenever I wasn't, when I wasn't drunk, I just pretended to be ill. And
yeah. But
itself.
Funny enough, my dad's the same. Now, my dad lived in India for quite a while, and they have a product there called Fenny, which is a spirit which is distilled from cashews. So I don't think it's from the nuts, but from the tree of cashew, the cashew tree. And he always says, like, he swears by it, like, if you're feeling ill, this will sort you out. It's like, no, Dad, that's probably what made you ill in the first place, if I'm really honest, because he's vile. He said, no, that's the cheap stuff. They pep the cheap stuff up with battery acid. It's like, and are you sure that's not what this is? Because it tastes like battery acid. He's absolutely vile, but he swears by it.
I've got a friend who's Slovakian, and she swears by the homebrew that her mum makes. And it's when she gave us all some when we first met her, and it was in mugs. And if you lifted it up, you could see the vapor lines coming. And I put my finger in and I just rubbed it on my finger, and I was like, oh, took off my nail varnish. She went, threw it back, and we were away.
And that'll do your lungs good.
Yeah. Well, she's a police officer, so we just do as we're told. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to use some bad language now. Non-alcoholic beers. It's not some. It's not. I'll be honest with you. I was out on Saturday night and I was driving, and I tried. And they actually, I was at the pub I was in. They had Lucky Saint on tap. On tap, a non-alcoholic beer on tap. I've got to be honest. It actually wasn't too bad, and actually, because it had that extra body, because it was, it was coming from the old tap. It didn't taste too bad. I actually felt like I was having a proper beer. I was worried about getting pulled over on the way home. It was that good. But do they sell well at all?
Yeah, they do actually. They sell really well. We've got Jaeger Fun, which is just non-alcoholic Jaeger. Then we've got the Vander Street ones that tend to sell very well. I think we've got a Warstein, which is an alcohol-free. But there's quite a few people who tend to want an alcohol-free. And though they're not bad. I know Mash Gang are like a really up and coming with alcohol free. I had their stout not so long ago. It was too overcarbonated for me, but their lager was beautiful, and I will give them that. It was really nice. They did another one as well, which was they did another one as well, which is the one with this skeleton on the front of it. I forget the name now. That's another one which is just, I think it's called Peng. No, that's Squawk. That's another one that's really, really nice. And I think if you give them the time, there are things out there that you can have. I think you've just got to manage your expectation, because you're not going to get an 11% MP stout feeling stout out of a non-alcoholic stout.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get the same bitey, hoppy flavors you're going to get with a 7% double dry hopped track gold top that you're going to get from a non-alcoholic lager, because they need to market them to the masses as well. So they're not going to be big punchy IPAs. They're going to be easy drinking lager.
Yeah.
You have to manage those expectations a bit.
Yeah.
One of the things I've seen that people are doing is putting CBD in them instead of alcohol. What are your thoughts on that?
So Farmyard Brew Co. So it used to be Farmyard. They're now called Farmyard Brew Co. They do a CBD beer, but I think they've got two, one without and one with alcohol. They're coming to see me tomorrow. That's who's coming. Sorry, that's been all week. I've been going, who's coming to see me tomorrow? Farmyard. There we go. They're coming tomorrow to bring us some. So I will feed back on what they're like. But to be honest, that high isn't there because it's CBD oil. So I'm not really sure what that's going to be like. But that I always liken the smell of hops to the smell of weed. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, they're from the same genus of plants, I believe. So you know what I mean. And like I say, if you break a really hoppy bottle of beer, if you drop it on the floor, honestly, it's just like who's blazed up a doobie. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we get fresh hops delivered once a year for the house, because I'm weird. I'm a Cheshire housewife, honestly. We get them to put up in the kitchen, and they smell remarkably like weed when you pull them out. You're like,
yeah, but weed is like a really nasty smell, though, isn't it?
yeah, it is. When you first pull out fresh hops, is quite a smell.
Do you like the smell of weed, Dad?
I quite like the smell. I worked in Runcorn for 4 years. I got used to it.
Dude,
I went to Salford Uni.
Yeah, there you go. I'll explain it.
Like, obviously during the summer we went to New York, and like Times Square, like just stinks of weed, and it stinks, dude. It ain't great.
I like the smell.
Whether that's like cheap weed or you get like, I don't know, but it's not great. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, it's got a good smell to it though.
Mm.
Good smell to it. It's like the smell of burnt matches. Like you either like it or you don't.
Hate it. Someone blows out a candle. It's like, oh no, hate that smell. Oh, rubbish.
Really?
I do like that. You see,
I do.
No, dude.
A sensitive palate. That's why you've not gone all in on there.
That's it, yeah. That's why you don't have pineapple on your pizza.
Yeah.
Dude, don't start. Just don't get me started on pineapple on pizza, because that's just horrendous.
Oh, I'll be honest. I'm getting to the bottom of this beer, and I say I'm getting to the bottom. There's still a little bit left. But you guys know me. I'm a little bit funny about sediment in beer. There's a little bit at the bottom.
Literally just going to say that. Just hold that up again.
Yeah, there's a little bit of sediment in that one. Can you see it swilling around there at the bottom?
Yeah, I can just see on the bottle there is. Yeah. Oh, sorry, on the glass, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of sensitive to the idea that it's cost me 13 quid, so I want to drink as much of it as I can, but at the same time, but no.
Oh, you want to be opening the other one?
Yeah, exactly. I do want to be opening the other one. I'm very keen to try that one
because it is particularly nice. I'm very impressed with Three Hills, actually. Really impressed with Three Hills.
I've had some of those. Yeah, I've had some of that stuff before, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. It was the wording on the can that reminded me that I had it before. We had a guy on here, Andy, didn't remember John Nicol, the Geordie beer guy?
Mm.
He was a good guy, and he reviews beers online, and he does some great reviews. But one of the things he does love is a good, strong Imperial Stout. And the one thing he always talks about, and he always gets challenged on, is when he's talking about the body. People talk about mouthfeel and stuff like that, but a good, thick body is what he enjoys. God bless him. We can do our own jokes about that.
I want it to coat my mouth. It's got to be like treacle almost. That's what I want out of an Impy. I want to know I've had it 10 minutes after I've had it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things he said is like, so when they first went into lockdown and he was really enjoying his beers, he says he was sat in his garden with his feet in his kids' paddling pool on a stinking hot day with a can of Imperial Stout, thinking, I shouldn't be enjoying this, but he was in heaven. God bless him. But
I tend to share mine with next door if it's a hot day. I know that. Yeah, like an Omnipollo. 15%. I need somebody to share it with.
Yeah. So as you said, then you do a lot. Like say, John's very good in the videos that he shares, and he's very talkative, and he's got this fabulous Geordie accent, so he's really, really easy to listen to. But some of the stuff that you do as well for your social media, where do you get your inspiration for some of that? Because it is really entertaining.
Entertaining. I am a chaotic person. That's it, really. So I have my own personal.
Chaos is brilliant.
Yeah, tell my husband that. So I've got my own personal sort of TikTok where I am increasingly chaotic, where I have about, I don't know, like 8,000 people who watch me be an idiot on the internet. Wow. And I said recently, well, I think it was only a couple of months ago, to Liam that I want to start doing a TikTok for the bar, and just started making stupid videos, really. I want to incorporate the rest of them into them, but they have quite staunchly said, no, please stop filming us.
But when you say you started making stupid videos, it's like, because I'm 49 years old. I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to social media and all that. So like you say, stupid videos. They can't be that stupid if you've got that many followers. So like you must be tapping into something that is working.
No, I worry about the mental health of the people who follow me. So no, the bar. No, I love them all. The bar, I have to tread a very careful line, obviously, because it's a different sort of demographic. But I do want to inject a lot of the personality that we've got in the bar. When people come in, they don't get like a very clean sort of cut experience. The best thing I love about our bar is that one day I wandered in, and it was on a Thursday. I opened the door. Hi everyone. Hi Della. Shut the door behind me, and I turned around, and the first question I got from a customer was, "If you could kill a swan with a cricket bat, would you?" Like,
and what did you say?
Yeah, I probably could. Yeah. That's where we're at. Oh, recently it sounds so bad when you say it out loud, but they had a bit of wood, and this is such an odd thing. So they found a bit of wood, right? It's about this long, and it had a charred edge to it. And somebody went, "That wood smells weird." And somebody said, "What does it smell like?" And she went, "Polos." And then they went round the bar and asked everyone what this bit of wood smelled like. So by the time I got to work, they had a tally chart of what the bit of wood smelled like. And it became a whole thing. What does this wood smell like? And everybody came in. "You're new. Come here. What does this wood smell like?" And that's
the guy's walking. He's like,
I don't know. Like, on new people who've never been to the bar before, come here. What does this wood smell like? And that's the kind of place that we are. We have these really odd, esoteric conversations that turn out to be diatribes from one member of staff, or me and Liam just going off on one, because Liam's does stand up every now and again, and I used to do stand up before I had kids, and I got broken. So we end up with this. It's almost like dinner and a show sometimes, and it's a wonderful place to be. And I try to inject that personality into the social media that we do. Though the Instagram is a little bit sterile in my mind, but I think the TikTok does tend to pick up a bit of that, if not less offensive than we can be.
Obviously, about an hour ago, I definitely get the vibe that you're such a sort of life-loving, outgoing. I can imagine that your social media stuff is fantastic and engaging and fun and happy-go-lucky, and if that's a vibe that you want to sort of create from the bar, then fair play to you, because that definitely comes across just from meeting you podcast-wise. Really, really good fun. Certainly know your stuff. Wow, amazing sort of thing. So, do you get many people that, when people come into you, do you get them? Are you regulars? Do they drink the same type of thing, or is it what we got on this month, this week?
Well,
do they experience things, or?
Yeah, they do. They can do. And we do get people who come in and go, "White rat, please." And then there's no deviation. They have like the same thing. But I'm counting myself very, what's the word? I think I've cracked it a little bit, that I've given stuff, the camera group that come in, for example, only drink cask. Yeah. And recently I made them have something out of a can, and they enjoyed it.
Oh dear.
That was like a personal victory.
Yeah.
I thought, like, if I kept a diary, I would have put that in a diary. I felt like starting a diary just to write that. That could be only a word. Yeah, today this happened. Like, shut the diary. I'll keep that forever. And I could have had it to do it myself. So there are certain groups that will, but when things come on kegs, we have some strong lines, and we Liam's incredibly he's very good at kind of like mixing up what we've got on. people do go, oh, what's that like?
Yeah.
And that's like my favourite thing. So I'm like, oh, you really like then you've got 15 minutes of me telling me about them. They have like a little bit. Especially when we've got like a really strong stout on. If we've got a 12 or 13% stout on and it's £3.50 for a third, and we've got ones that creep up to £7 for a third, that you think it's going to be a hard sell, but they go, what's that like? Like, what's that? And then we've got a strapping sheep farmer who comes in, and he used to only drink stouts, and now he's on tippers and dippers because we're going, why don't you try a little bit of this? And it's just that kind of, it's almost like a beer education for some people. Like, why don't you have a go and see what if you don't like it, that's fine. You know, I'm not your mum, but have a go. Yeah. People do. They do.
There you go, guys. You know what's in your future. That's actually something we should do, actually, is we should each buy beer for each other on this. So I'll buy a beer that I would enjoy and give it to Gaz, but she knows she's going to have pineapple in it at some point.
Yeah, but do you enjoy beer with pineapple?
That was...
So the whole premise of that is that I'll buy a beer that I enjoy, not I'll buy a beer that I know Gaz will hate.
You might like it. You might like it.
Well, okay, maybe.
I wouldn't buy you one of my milkshake IPAs. I know, you know, that's not the sort of thing that would appeal. But then you buy something for Andy. Andy buys something for me. I've gone safe there because me and Andy drink very similar sort of beers.
Exactly. I'm the odd one out here. I'm like the heathen that drinks like well, not necessarily now, but you used to drink like Carling and Border and all of that sort of stuff. So
those dirty words.
Yeah, but it's slowly though. You develop your palate over a while. You know, you're not going to go in jumping in both feet into 14% Omnipollo super experimental stouts. Yeah. Start small. Start with just an IPA, like an ICAP or a Jute, and then you work your way into, well, I think I quite like that, and then you find what you like about it, and then ask someone. So I don't know whereabouts you are, but if you're close to a craft beer, just go and ask and say, I like this. What's next? Yeah. Because it's like my favourite part of the job is when somebody says, I like this. What have you got that's a little like that? And I'll say, these are your options that are similar. This is what you can move on to. And it's like a gateway drug.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, this is the next one. So people like, oh, I don't like sours. Well, have you tried Alambic? Move you away from Alambic. Well, like, it's a hot day, for example, and you're going to sit outside and have a schlur. Why not have Alambic? Why not have a goes? Try something. See what you like. Don't have a super hard-hitting imperial sour. Why don't you have one that's got a sweeter note to it? So something that ends with a maple. And then you're not ending with oh God, you go in, that's quite a mellow, easing out. And then you find the top notes in those are the sour top notes, but they end with the maple. And then you get this sort of taste journey that just gives you a hint of, but not all of, a sour. And then you'll find that maybe you quite like ones that end on a sweeter note. And then what else ends on a sweeter note? Who else is making something right now that ends on a sweeter note? And you don't have to go all the way into sours. My husband is, well, I've just poured this one, for example.
Nice.
Pink. He wouldn't dream of having that. But he would quite like something a little bit sweeter without that sour note with a lower ABV. Well, who's doing that now? Where can we get that from? Let's get it on the beer wall for you. I'll try.
There you go. Well, Gaz is
beer shops are very, very important.
we're let's say we're in Allsage. Gaz is my next door neighbour, so Sandbach Beer Emporium, dude. Yeah, I am actually genuinely pointing in your house here, dude. Are you pointing in mine?
I'm pointing yours as well.
Oh yeah, we're sat in the opposite direction. I'll let you off. It just looks
like
we're
touching fingers.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, look like Usain Bolt in it a little bit. Yeah.
You'll drive past my house to get there. So there you go.
There you go. Oh, do you live with a vet fielding?
I live next to the motorway junction, junction 17.
Oh, okay.
So I have the oldest house in Sandbach, which is a challenge.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about the repair costs.
Okay, yeah, that's less cool. Is it haunted?
Okay.
Is it haunted though? Is it haunted?
Is it haunted? It's been here for 500 years. And
Must be haunted.
Right, so where are you? So opposite Junction 7.
Don't give out your address on a podcast.
I'm
That's the
not-
first bit of
no,
advice
I'm on
I give
Google.
you.
I'm on Google, which the people at the pub absolutely love, so they like to review the house. Just,
Okay, dude, we need to find out where that is because.
and then please don't leave a review.
Yeah, that didn't sound stalkery at all, Gaz.
I didn't mean it in that way. We've got a whole different podcast on buildings and.
Oh, I thought you said stalking.
Stalking.
No, again.
Again, yeah.
I'm not allowed without
History
500
haunting,
feet in your house.
history
Fella.
stalking,
Can't get on the motorway.
So we're getting close to around about the hour mark now. So what's the one beer on your list that you'd like to try that you have not tried? I'm going to ask you two guys that as well, but I'm asking Della first, so you guys can have a little bit of a think.
I think the more I see of Omnipollo, the more I think I want to try more of theirs, and not maybe one specifically, not their IPAs, but certainly their stouts. They always surprise every time, and I know they're very expensive. The import is quite a lot, but I think I would be in hog heaven if I was to go and be in their tap room. And I think anything by them, a huge hearty stout. And I don't think it's one individual one, because I know that they're going to make more all the time. And I think if there was any way I could just be at the end of the line with my mouth open, not in a weird way. That's what she said. Not in a weird way. Then I would, because I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be something I want.
What about you, Andrew? What's the one beer you haven't tried yet you'd like to try?
It's probably more salt. I've only had a couple of theirs. I think Morrison's or do a few occasionally. But yeah, the Omnipollo, my mate, he's always buying like their random flavors and shoving it in my face. So they're really good brewery. But yeah, I think salt. I think it's one I need to try a bit more of.
One of Andy's good friends actually is a brewer. Is Buxton now, isn't he? And we tried to get him on the podcast a few times, but he's relenting as we speak.
It's wearing down like a cliff face.
Oh yeah. We'll try. We'll try. What about you, Gaz? Yeah. What about you, Gaza?
I think I need to expand my sort of stout drinking, because I a bit like you, Della, I like Guinness and stuff, but I think maybe I really fancy the idea of like a chocolate chip stout, like biscuity chocolate chip stout beer. And I don't know whether there is one around. I don't know whether.
A Munston.
Okay.
They do one. Yeah, dessert in a can.
Oh yes. I had one of those on here.
So what's the ABV?
Strong,
but they do a mint choc chip cookie. They do a chocolate chip cookie. They do they do a peanut butter cookie as well. Then they do the donut series as well, which is a chocolate donut. And then they do a red velvet, which is like a goes as well. A Munston.
Wow. So when we're out, it's the height of summer with the family. What ice cream do you want? Mint choc chip. That's it. And they do that in a beer.
I think.
My days! Why haven't I heard of this?
I think I had the salted caramel one, and I think it was about 12%, something like that. And it was a bit. I tell you what, though, it's sweet though, and it is a very, very sweet beer.
Yeah. It makes you go, and about half an hour later, you're climbing the walls.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sugar, but they're very nice. At the beer festivals, they tend to serve those ones. So the donut ones, they serve them with a donut. or the dessert in the can with a slice of cake, stuff like that. They really go in for it.
I do think I'd like a chocolate chip stout or something like that, like a chocolatey, caramelly, biscuity based stout. I think they're the beers that I need to, because you love them, don't you, Ad? You love a good stout and stuff. So I think they're the beers I possibly need to try a little bit more.
I'll tell you one beer you would enjoy, dude, is this one, which is the rum one that I'm drinking right now. Is absolutely fantastic. Oh, it's an absolute humdinger. I prefer this to the other one, actually, with the pineapple and what have you. This is a gem. It's almost medicinal. It's that good.
I can tell you exactly where I was in. We keep poultry, and I'm stood in the chicken enclosure, and I'm talking to Three Hills, and he went, and there's one we've got, and it's yes, please. And he didn't even finish saying rum. I just went, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'll drink that. Yeah.
How many do you want? Just yes. I don't just send it. I don't care. Just send it. Do it now. I need to put it in the post right now.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's very deep, very rich. You couldn't have a lot of them, but I do wish I had a second.
Have you had Pulpatine, the Turning Point brew?
Just once, but I got it cured. Oh, sorry.
Oi. Pulpatine is Emperor's Brew Turning Point collaboration, which is like a charred nectarine imperial 12% stout.
That sounds good. Do you have that in stock?
Maybe.
Oh, I might be there on the weekend.
It's I've never on Saturday. It's one of they said the sheep farmer who comes in, huge guy. He's built like a doorway. He's wonderful. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. He's bought two of them and put them in the back. And he said, I'll save those for Christmas and we'll all have them together.
Oh, top man.
And we've got one guy who works in South Africa and then comes back every couple of months. And he messaged and said, like one of the people who comes to the bar and said, one of those, put it in the fridge for me in the back now, because he's away at the moment. And he saw it and went, want it. So they've been so popular, and Damien at Emperors is he's a lovely guy. He's such a lovely guy, and you can see that he really enjoys what he does when he's out doing all this stuff. So I'm quite happy to buy more if I can.
Absolutely, yeah. Put one of those away. I'll pop in Saturday and pick one up. I like the sound of it. So that takes us to the hour mark. The beer I haven't tried, I'd like to try is Russian River's Pliny the Elder, which is an American dipper that I'd very, very much like to try. It's won loads of awards in America. It's one of those beers that's very, very difficult to get hold of in the UK, and I would very, very much like to try it. So if you can get hold of that one, stick one of those away as well, because I'd like to try that. But we are at the end of this episode. So, Della, any final words? Do you want to give a bit of a plug for the place that you work? Where it can be found, where it can be found online, that kind of stuff?
We're the Beer Emporium, and we're in Sandbach or on Wells Street, and it's a lovely little place. And if you've enjoyed my ranting on here, then you'll really enjoy what we do, because we have lots of beers, incredible beer knowledge. I'm not tooting my own horn there. It's all the staff are absolutely wonderful, and they know what they're talking about. And that's the nicest thing about it, is because we've got people who have who want gluten-free beers, because we've got a staff member who's gluten-free, all the way to me, who'll have a tipper dipper, and all the way to Liam, who wants anything that's like so dark and worried about his insides. And so we're online. We've got Your Beer Emporium on Instagram, and we're the Beer Emporium, Beer Emporium on TikTok as well, if you want to see me be an idiot online. And we just like good beer, and that's the long and short of it. Is we want good beer and to share good beer with people.
Absolutely. And I can say, as a customer of theirs, I go in there and I have conversations with the staff all the time. I go in with an idea, like I said earlier, I go in with an idea of what I want to buy, and everybody has got an opinion, and they will share their favourite beers from me. It is fantastic. It's one of my favourite shops. Andrew?
Yeah, it's good to know. Like, I think the stout area is something like I was thinking about it. I don't really dip into too much because I've had a bad experience, and I say a bad experience. I ate a lot before this gig, and we're just like, it's me and my mate Lee and Clive and all that. We're just like, oh, I might sack this gig off. I'm just too full. And then Clive went to the bar. This is how bad it was. Like, Clive went to the bar and got us the Brooklyn chocolate. I can't remember what it was. Chocolate. It was a chocolate stout anyway. And it was like you had to get a spoon to drink it. It was just so heavy. It's just like put me off drinking stouts. But no, I'm jealous of the passion you have. You found a job that you really enjoy, and I'm jealous of that. And you get to drink a lot of beer as well. Yeah.
So
the one reason I'm here.
As a job, it's a funny old thing. I was a lecturer and I did stand up, and then I became a housewife. It's not bad, is it? And I just wandered in and went, "Here's a job." Well, I didn't actually. Liam said, "What a job!" And this is where I've ended up, and I'm uniquely lucky to have found such a wonderful place to be, because not only the staff but the customers they make it. And I say when I go to work, I come to work for a break because it's such a nice place to be. And I honestly, it's a wonderful place. So.
No, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. And actually, Andy, it is one of your long-term goals, isn't it, to own something like that? Is it not?
Yeah, if I could stay away from the beer, I'll try that. Yeah. I'll probably just drink it all. But yeah, I'd love to do just not semi-retire, but just open a shop and just sit back and sell beer, drink it, talk about it, and
and drink some more.
Yeah.
Gaza?
Yeah, look, episodes when we've got guests on, Della, your passion for drink and do is it's actually infectious, and if that's half of what you do when people into your, then great. Loved listening to you talk about different types of beers. I definitely need to try the sort of the stout, more of the stout market. I do enjoy that. Yeah, love tonight. It's been brilliant. I always love having guests on. Definitely will be paying a visit to you guys. And I look forward to picking your brains and you sort of guiding me into what I should be drinking and what I shouldn't be drinking.
Indeed.
It'll be an expensive trip. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I don't mind that. That's no problem at all.
Well, thanks very much. I've had a really wonderful time.
Indeed. Well, I shall see you Saturday because I'm off on Saturday. I'll be popping up there to pick one of those tangerine stouts. I like the sound of that one, absolutely. And actually, even despite being a Star Wars fan, I haven't had one of those Emperor's beer, so I do need to try some of that, get my inner Jedi going. So, if you listen to this and you've enjoyed it, then get yourself along to the Beer Emporium in Sandbach if you've not been there yet and you are local. If not, why not pay a visit? We will stick some information in the show notes for this so you can find them. And we'll stick the Instagram or Facebook or something like that so you can check out what they do. But for now, thank you very much for listening and we'll catch you next time. Take care.